Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your magical moon message. This is the Peace Dealer. The moon is in Virgo, the sun is in Cancer, and I think this is a transit that is going to give you perhaps one of the most real changes of your behavior and enable you to literally not only step into your power, but activate this mastery of psychic ability. We have completed the activation of your character from Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, and now we are integrating your character and integrating your power. Cancer is giving you an awareness of the special nature of who you are. Okay. If anything, if Aries answered what you are, Cancer is delving into who that is. So this is on one level kicking off the activation before the moon goes into Libra, and then the seeds will go from the plant, they will sprout from the ground, and you will start to come into an awareness of what power you are now integrating through this breakthrough arc. So the moon is opposite Saturn. At the end, it's going to oppose Neptune and square Mercury. That's getting ready to come out of Gemini. So the proximity to Mercury to the sun is preparing for an epiphany over the next few days, where we're going to have the conjunction of Mercury, 9 degrees, 8 degrees Cancer. And this is definitely going to activate this new cycle of sincerity and mind-body connection with your emotions being the fuel. So what's really important about this activation is relative to Jupiter, that is trining this evolved quality of how much more rich and dense you can process this extra dimensional and supernatural experience through your five senses, is actually putting you in a position to now ground that understanding through the actual physical experience that these five senses through analysis will enable you to experience. In other words, it's a transit like this that facilitates the adjustment of your perception to take recently activated magical abilities and to now express through your own psychic ability and potential the literal, real perception of experiencing psychic powers. The best way to do this, of course, is to live in the end state. One great material you could check out Florence Scovel Shin. Your word is your magic wand. Shout out to Grace for hooking me up with that. But I would also recommend Feeling is the Secret, which is less about forcing yourself to feel emotions and just living in the end state, because that will produce the sincere feelings. Okay. Venus and Mars are still tearing it up in Leo. So the more passionate you can get with this, the better. Since now you've activated the truth through Gemini season that life is what you make it. Well, Leo wants to teach you that make that shit fun. Like, literally take this whole process of the fact that you can be responsible for your creation, your reality, not be a victim of your own circumstances, because circumstances don't matter. And so if you can change any circumstance in your life right now, how much fun would you have weaving this magic? Your willingness with Neptune opposite the moon in Virgo, okay, Neptune being the bastion of your imagination, materializing your beliefs with Saturn, is going to help the moon in Virgo help you understand the analysis. Moon in Virgo is going to help you understand the analysis through your physical experience of how you are adjusting your perception to facilitate you experiencing the psychic ability. If you are, of course, responding to every real situation, especially socially, thinking as if you are in the end state of what you want, the moon in Virgo is going to begin to show you real evidence of this happening. And this is where, with the Virgo analysis, you can get overly critical and choose to focus on cynical, negative experiences, or you could use this Neptune opposition to change the meaning of how you perceive it, because anything is possible. So even if, there's A and there's B that you can go through. If most people see that A and B didn't work, you're going to give into that illusion and feel like, oh, this isn't going to work, when you literally can just still decide, okay, that it is going to work. And now C opened up for you. There was not even any C that was possible. C now opened up for you, because now your persistent assumption has to harden in fact. This is just a law. It's not a belief. It's not a belief. This is a law. Okay. And test that law out. Apply the scientific method to this law, because Saturn of the law in Pisces is going to really anchor so much more realization. Every time we have Virgo transits opposite Pisces, we'll be adjusting this definition of the materialization of our beliefs, aka reality warping. And you don't have to worry about how to do this, because the moon in Virgo is teaching you how to use your psychic powers. The third house to the sun is the development of abilities and skill sets through what you're repeating in your mind. And because this is in Virgo of repetition and technique, you're learning a new technique as a psychic ability. You are understanding the technique that is needed to use this psychic ability, which you are activating now. There's so many aspects to this transit that are so fucking badass. The trine to Uranus and Taurus is facilitating this extra dimensional quality of how to feel the supernatural, and notice the causality between the psychic properties of your mind, which are invisible, and how that induces change into the physical. Magic and magicians get such a bad rap, whether it's religion that through the Greeks and Catholics inserted this negative dogma against to kind of equate it to frauds and charlatans, and then scientists who also basically the same thing. So it has really been done a disservice, especially now since there are a lot of frauds who use these fields to deceive people. So the whole notion of psychic ability has nothing to do with religion, and it really has nothing to do with this traditional sense of science. It, in its simplicity, is mainly just talking about the powers that your mind has. You have physical power, you have psychic power. It's literally that simple. Ninjas use psychic and physical power to create stamina and express jutsu. So this is going to develop your capacity to harness your psychic function every time that you set an intention, every time that you focus your mind and will towards anything. You're using psychic power. Atheists use psychic power. People who don't believe in psychic ability use psychic power. It's not something you believe in using. It's not something that you could turn off. It's just like thinking. It's just another facet of how you use your thoughts. So instead of relying on physical yang power, the yin of your imagination governed by your mind and your thoughts is what enables this non-linear, non-traditional, but ancient as all its time facilitation of your own mental energies. That's it. It's not some kind of taboo, devil-ridden, evil thing. It is a property of your brain. So if psychic ability is evil, bitch, you're evil. But do not let dogmatic Christian or religious values and pseudoscience from people teaching you it's real science teach you that psychic ability is pseudoscience, because it is natural as you're breathing. And guess what? You're experiencing this right now. So the reason why you are fine-tuning the synchronization between what you think and experience for real is because of the whole bridging of the essence of magic, the ability to transpose the supernatural onto the natural. And there's really no way how to do it. You create how, and that's what you're doing right now, hence the activation of the mastery of psychic ability. So tap into your feelings, really be guided to what this non-linear sense is leading you to, because you overlap and combine the linear with the non-linear. It's not all about being irrational, but it's not all about being too logical. You have to bridge the left and the right brain. And you can do this by just having fun and really immersing yourself in your imagination, because Virgo will analyze how to make real and practical certain intangible elements of your imagination to reflect for real. And how do you do this? Law of assumption. You must be, then do, then have. And you don't worry about how. Once you're being there, you will create how. Such is life, such is magic. So you are literally in the process right now of activating psychic power. You know why I know that? Once the moon goes into Libra, from moon in Libra to moon in Sagittarius, you're going to be integrating this psychic power into breakthrough techniques that you use to change your life before we come into the full moon in Capricorn, and you are now using the psychic power you are activating now. So the moon in Virgo is going to be that part where it's like, oh, I'm actually understanding how to use this. And because no one else is you, and that That is your superpower. You're going to understand the special quality of this innate technique that separates you from other people. Let me not even say separates, that distinguishes you from other people. And this is not really figurative. You're going to be taking cardinal Cancer action to feel certain phenomena that will induce change in your environment. And this is what for the next week you're going to be able to practice to take and master. So pay attention, because especially by the time the moon reaches the end of the transit and trines Pluto, opposes Neptune, and squares Mercury, the Mercury in Gemini square to moon in Virgo is what is adjusting your perception for you to perceive supernatural ability. That's the whole notion of Mercury in Gemini being your brain processing what things are, and then the intuitive wisdom of the moon in Virgo helping you analyze how to perceive the change between what you think and what happens in reality. Get it? Mercury and Gemini, what you're thinking in your brain versus your understanding of how that reflects in reality. That's going to change how your brain behaves so you can facilitate this new ability. So if you want this, I just gave you the science for how your brain is going to shift to perceive this. Then Mercury's going to go into Cancer, then the moon's going to go into Libra. Or the moon's going to go into Libra, then Mercury's going to go into Cancer, in that order. And this is where post that shift, where we'll have many other shifts like that, this is what's going to help you move forward with this activation. Of course, the moon opposite Neptune is what's going to physically draw out this change of perception with this T-square so that you can practically detail the metaphysical understanding and process of how the unseen as above, so below reflects down below. The key here is that with you as a conscious creator, you are creating through your decision making how this is happening, because that's what creators do. This life is a dream. This is an illusion. This veil of Maya is an illusion. So allow the moon in Virgo to show you the details of this. And once you understand it's a dream, you can lucid dream and literally create your reality. It's a persistent illusion relative to the great reality beyond this dream that's projecting this illusion. So make sure you remember knowing that your circumstances don't matter. And if Neptune represents this illusion in Pisces, the moon's opposition helps you understand that duality through the opposition. And that's where the Mercury square in Gemini will articulate what magic keys put the power in your hands to change and create as you see fit. And so the trine to Pluto is going to take this full understanding and push forward to transform your reality. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the mechanisms for activation of psychic power. What's your psychic power? You're going to understand what it is and how to use it today and tomorrow. And I would get really excited, because once we start integrating this, starting from the moon in Libra, you're going to now begin to use this with other people so that you can begin the process of mastering it. And the last thing I'll say is that because we have Mars and Venus in Leo, this still adds such a very passionate shifting of how much more boldly and courageously we strengthen the quality of these abilities we're activating so that you can have fun with the process. So with the moon that's trining Uranus, just be receptive to the extra dimensional quality, extra dimensional meaning energy outside of this dimension, right? That aids into the strengthening of this shift in your behavior. Your behavior is shifting because you're activating psychic abilities that make obsolete activities you were doing before that now you could do with your mind. Psychic ability means basically anything that you could do with your mind. And many of you may acknowledge it as something that's possible, but do you know do you know you can really do it right now? Do you know that you are really doing it right now? If you don't, you're about to know. And if you already do, You're about to master this to the next level. Godspeed, ladies and gentlemen.